In this guide, you are going to learn how to texture your model and also how to place decals like a pro. So yeah, this one is mainly based on add-ons workflow. If you don't like using paid tools, then honestly, this guide isn't for you. And with that being said, let's jump into the tutorial. Here we are in Blender, and for this tutorial, I'm using this sci-fi gun design. If you want this exact model, just check my Gumroad page. It's completely free. And if you want to learn how to design this weapon from scratch, I already made a detailed 40-minute guide on YouTube. The link will be in the description. Now, if you want to jump straight into texturing, I recommend downloading the model from Gumroad. Like I said, it's free. With that being said, let's start painting the gun. I'm using the MatricX add-on to make the texturing workflow way easier. You'll also find the purchase link in the description. A quick note before we continue. You must install the texture pack, otherwise you'll get error message. Here's how to do it. Go to your downloaded file. You'll see two zip files inside. Extract the one called MatricX imperfection texture. Then open Blender and install the unzip file. And after that, expand the add-on settings, and at the bottom, you'll see the package installer. Click the file icon and pick the imperfection folder you extracted. Then open it and hit accept. That's it. Now save your preference and you're ready to go. Now press the N key to open the side panel, and you'll see the MatricX toolbar right there. Let's choose our first material. I'm switching to the special matte, and from there I'm gonna pick the gold, and in gold I'm gonna choose the rose gold material. So to apply it, just click the generate button, and that's it. No extra step, no BS. Next, for the main body, I'm switching to metal, and for the base color it would be like something darker tone, and you can just copy my Xcode if you want the same exact color. I'm set the roughness to 0.4 so that it doesn't look too shiny, and for the imperfection I'm gonna pick the scratch and keeping the color to be something like a gray. Now once everything's set, click the generate button. You'll see the scratches appears, but they are too tiny right now. So I'm going to lower the scale to around something like a 0.4 or maybe 0.31. Yeah, that looks nice, very clean, and right amount of scratches. Now for the grip handle, I would like to add something like a rubber feel. So I'm going to switch to rubber and leather and choose the normal type. It fits perfectly for this spot, and add the material, and it looks insanely so damn good. Next, I want to introduce a secondary color. So select the cylinder and switch back to metal. Disable the imperfection. We don't really want to add to each materials. And I'll set this color to be like a light gray and add it to the cylinder. Then copy the same material to the small cylinders and the small little mesh at the end. For the ammunition, I'm giving a different material, something like a really shiny and gray, so let's set the color to dark gray and with roughness around 0.3 or something. Now select the back piece, the top section and the scope, and finally select the ammunition. Then press Ctrl+L and choose link material. For the rail mounted at the top, I'm linking the same scratch material we created earlier. And same thing for the scope side. But here's the problem. The texture on this part is looking way more bigger. So to fix that, I'm going to the material property and click this little number next to the material name. That makes a separated copy just for this object. Now let's switch to shading, and inside the node graph, go to the mapping node. Now left click and drag to select all these values and increase the scale. I'm setting mine to around something 3.8. Yeah, that gives a much cleaner result. Next up, for the same model, we can add some emission. So I'm going to add a cube, and inside the matrix, I switch to emission. For the color, I'm going to pick something like a bright green, or maybe somewhere between the green or blue, anyway. Then click generate. We are doing this just to capture the emission material. Now go to face mode, select all the faces using Ctrl+ to expand the selection. Then in material panel, hit the plus button. Pick the emission one we created and then click assign. There we go. Now we can delete this cube. Let's also add the emission to the front portion. So in face mode, select this rectangle and hit Ctrl+ to grow the selection again, and then assign the same emission material. We have a one last piece left, so I'm assigning the same scratch material to that. Now for the front portion, I want to add a bit of separation. So in face mode, select the circular faces and grow the selection. Then click new and choose the same silver material we used for the cylinder, and then click assign. We'll do the same exact thing for the bottom barrel. Next, still in the face mode, I'm selecting the face loop with Alt plus click and another loop cut right next to it. Now assign the same silver material for the both. And that's it. We successfully finished the texturing process. It didn't take long, right? But to take this model to the next level, we need to add decals, so let's jump into that. First thing first, you'll need the decal machine add-on for this step. I've already installed it in Blender along with few paid and free decal packs. I'll leave all the decal pack links in the description, so you can get them and install to your decal machine. Then when I press D, it opens up the decal library. I'm going to start with a simple circular logo, so this one looks good, so just click this and add it to the scene. Then scale it down to match the size. Then position it to the center. Yeah, that's pretty much good. Now to project this decal onto the model, press D to open up this menu and then hold the shift key and then click this project. Adjust the offset until the decal sits cleanly on the surface. Now let's change the color. Switching to the shading workspace, disconnect the color input and choose any color you want. So I don't really want to go anything funky here. So I'm just setting to the black color. Then lower the alpha value so it blends nicely with the material. And that's it. I feel like it's a bit too shiny, so I'm going to increase the roughness to around 0.7 or 0.8. Yeah, much better. Next, duplicate this decal and place it on the small cylinder. Resize it and position it. And once you're happy with it, do a shift and project to wrap it around the surface. Now on the top, we can add something like a text, something like a street style. So for this, you don't need any add-ons. All you need is just a text. Then go to the edit mode and type whatever you want. I'm just typing my name, Jack. Back in object mode, we need to install a stylish font. So go to the text property and open the font section. Select this file icon. You can download any font online. I have a few set on my system, so I'll choose one from there. By the way, if you want the same one, I also leave the link in the description. Rotate this text on X 90, then on Z adjust it until everything aligns properly. Then scale and position it exactly where you want. Now to make the text stick on our model, we need to add a shrink wrap modifier. So set the target as your gun model. Then increase the offset slightly, just enough to avoid the overlap. Finally, in the material property, create a new material. Set the color to black and reduce the alpha value to around 0.8. This text can create something like a street style vibe, and that's how we can just add the decals like a pro. For the top piece, I'm going to add something like a small label. I found this one in my library, looks pretty insane. So let's use that, scale this down, right about this size, and position it right here. Since our model is already dark, we don't need to change any color here. Now on the back side, we can add something like a logo or some text. So I'll isolate this model for a moment. Then somewhere here, I'm going to add a text decal. And I found this same Godot's library where they have a cool insane text. So let me just pick this one and tweak the size and place it properly. And finally, apply the projection. Next up, on the front portion, we can place something like a warning labels just below the emission stripe. So I'm using the default text pack for this. So let's go with this one. Scale it small, center it nicely, and project it onto the model. Now reduce the alpha to around 0.3 so it blends nicely. Let's try adding some detail decal because we're only placing the text, so it would be better if we just add something like a sci-fi decals. So I'm just gonna search for it, something like a rectangular decals, and it will be better if it comes with some emission. Yeah, let's try this one. First, reset the rotation, then rotate it to match the view. Place it in the middle, increase the scale just a bit, and project it. Now let's adjust the materials. I'll increase the roughness, then I'll set it to dark tone. Then we'll open the material subset base. This one is actually controls the decals color. Make it darker as well as increase the roughness to match the model. Once you've finished adding all the decals, you can simply select everything and mirror them to the other side. The most important rule with the decal is don't overdo it. Keep it minimal, clean, and subtle for your design. So that's how I texture and add decals to my model. There is no secrets, there is nothing complicated. So this is my exact workflow. By the way, if you want to purchase these add-ons, I'll leave the link in the description. Grab them and upgrade your skill set. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.